Welcome. Hi, I'm Bill Sattler. I am the Director of Workforce for Columbus City Schools Adult and Community Education. And we want to thank you for coming to the Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center's open house. This vision started long ago, before Julie and I actually came on board. So what we're doing is looking at how the Columbus Metropolitan Library came in and had a vision, and Mr. Patterson from the Marion-Franklin Civic Association, and joined forces with Columbus City Schools to open up this center for the community. Currently at the Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center, we are doing GED classes and we're also doing adult basic literacy education. We're also doing English for speakers of other languages classes, and we have an STNA class in conjunction with the FastPath organization that is funded through the City of Columbus and also working through Columbus State Community College. Marion-Franklin is a vision of a center to provide additional workforce training for the residents of the Marion-Franklin area and also all the surrounding areas. So we have a vision of just beginning more workforce development classes in this center to begin training those people for the jobs that are available in the area. It's with great pleasure that I'd like to introduce our speakers for today. We have Dr. Dan Good, Superintendent and CEO of Columbus City Schools. Mr. Herschel Craig, State Representative from House District 26. Mr. Andy Ginther, President of the Columbus City Council. Mr. Shannon Hardin, Member of the Columbus City Council. Mr. Pat Lazinski, CEO of the Columbus Metropolitan Library. Chad Smith, with U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown's office, and also Ramona Reyes, a board member for Columbus City Schools. Now I'd like to introduce Julie Kudica. Julie is the coordinator of the Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center, and she's going to say a few words.
Thank you all for being here today, and I'm so happy to introduce the Marion-Franklin Civic Association members that are such an important part of the success of this center. Every day, there are 2 to 3 volunteers who answer the phone, greet guests, and give positive support to the students. Our volunteers are Mr. Sam Briscoe, who's here every night with me from 5 to 7, Mrs. Viola Williams, Mrs. Pat Foster, Mrs. Debbie Davis, Mrs. Mary Green, who you will hear from later. She's a current GED student. Coach Walter Harris, who I'm happy to see here today. Mrs. Barbara Greathouse, Mrs. Betty Lewis, Mr. Clyde Williams, Mrs. Patricia Chavis. And if you live in the area and you're interested in being on the Marion-Franklin Civic Association, I think it is a wonderful program, and they all have huge hearts. And of course, last but not least, Mr. Robert Patterson, President of the Marion-Franklin Civic Association, and he is the reason we are here today. And if I don't get another chance to talk today, I want all of you to go home and tell 5 friends how great it is here. Okay, and now for our first speaker presentation, Dr. Good.
Good afternoon. Actually, it would be remiss of me if I didn't first introduce the representative of the Columbus City Schools Board of Education and invite her to the podium. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Ramona Reyes.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm actually wearing 2 hats today. So let me talk about my other hat. I am the new program director for Catholic Social Services Guadalupe Center, which serves over 6,000 Hispanic families on the city's west side. It's currently a food bank, and we hope that eventually it'll utilize this services. As previously discussed, ESL is very important, education is very important. Once we learn the language, we need to learn job skills, work skills, and become citizens of this global economy. So I'm very excited to be there in that hat. But as a member of the Columbus Board of Education, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for continuing to believe not only in our students, but as we all know, if our families are not complete, then our students do not have a future. So it's very important that our parents are just as taken care of. Like they say, you can't offer a cup of coffee to others if your cup is not full. So thank you again for your partnership, and have a great day.
Thank you, Board Member Reyes. So today we celebrate the spirit of success, the power of collaboration. The Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center is a prime example of our commitment to educate beyond the traditional classroom and beyond who we think of as the traditional student. So first, let me say thank you to the team here and to our community partners who shared in the vision of what this building could be. And I'm going to ask all of you to stand because all of you shared in this vision. So everyone, please rise and give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, now you can sit down. This is really an aerobic speech, so we'll be doing that several times. This open house is really a great opportunity to showcase what can be done to a building that really needed to transform from its role in the past, yet remain a valuable resource to the South Side, to the Marion-Franklin community, and beyond. In fact, that value is growing. The Columbus Metropolitan Library satellite location serves as the anchor and the cornerstone to this center. And through our adult and community education initiative, we're teaching a new generation of students. Since we opened our doors, we've served more than 100 people, learning basic computer skills, brushing up on their resumes, preparing to take the GED, or just learning English. Most exciting are our students training for a job in the healthcare industry through the state-tested nursing aid, or STNA, program. Even today, we have a mini job fair going on with representatives from some of the businesses in this area: Millwood Logistics, ODW, Georgia Pacific, and Wasserstrom. But this site offers more, much more, because our families, our potential students, and our communities need more. They deserve more. On the horizon are resources such as the benefit bank that you saw on the way into the auditorium, educational programming in heat, ventilation, and air conditioning, and commercial driver's license classes. And we will hire you as bus drivers. And we commit to making sure this space is always home to community meetings that create a stronger and a more productive dialogue on the future of this neighborhood. That's the power of collaboration. That's the spirit of success. And I thank everyone who is here for enhancing the reach of this center and our spirit of Columbus City Schools. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a man that I met just about 2.5 years ago at a rather contentious civic community meeting in the Marion-Franklin cafeteria. And you know what, Bob, when I think back to that, in many ways, this is Peggy's dream too. And a young woman that came to the podium with a third-grade education and asked if we could help her get her diploma. Well, we did help Peggy get her diploma. We were able to award that last year, just before she passed at Grand Hospital. But there are hundreds and thousands of Peggys in our community, and that's what this center is about, and this is part of Bob Patterson's dream. Please join me in welcoming the president of the Marion-Franklin Civic Association to the podium, Bob Patterson.
Good morning. Good morning. I just say good morning. I know it's not morning. But I'm so filled up. I thank God for the vision that He gave me. When I looked at this school and it closed, I looked at my community, I've been over here for 42 years, and this is my community. But first, I want to thank God for blessing me and my wife for putting up with me. But I would like for everyone that's a member of my organization, it's not my organization, but I call it my organization, of the Marion-Franklin Civic Association, just to stand up for a minute. Thank you. Now you may sit down. They believe in me. I come and tell them that God gave me a vision, and I can put them to work, and they work. And they go and do what I ask them to do. And I got a few of them that I can call on the telephone and jump on them. And they're so nice about it. And Dr. Good, I met him, and I know I bothered him so much, he got tired. I know he did. But I had the vision. But God opened the door. God opened the door with him for city council and everyone else. And I thank God. But most of all, I thank my neighbors for seeing what I see. Because when I look out in the audience, you might look around and see about 50 or 60 people, but I see the audience full. And I see the families helping their children, helping the ones that dropped out of school or something happened that they couldn't finish. And I said, Lord, show me how I can help them to finish, to get out here and be productive citizens and work and take care of their family, because Southfield is a community. And you have to know what a community is in order to understand. I don't have enough time to explain it to you, but I know you know what a community is. And this is our community. And I just thank Dr. Good, City Council, and all the dignitaries for just putting up with me, bothering them, calling them, bothering them, just listening to what I have in mind and want to do. And I just thank you very much for coming, and God bless you. And Chad, Mr. Smith, it's nice meeting you. I'd have met you before.
Yeah. Thank you, President Patterson. I'm Chad Smith with Senator Sherrod Brown's office. I wanted to thank the City of Columbus, the Marion-Franklin Civic Association, Columbus City Schools, and the Columbus Metropolitan Library for allowing us to be a part of this day. I also want to recognize Ron McGuire and Sandra from Congresswoman Beatty's office. We have the best congresswoman in the country, and so we want to give them applause for being here and being a part of this day. The senator could not be here today, but he wanted to make sure that I read a letter congratulating you all on this wonderful occasion. Though I cannot be with you today, I want to congratulate you on the grand opening of the Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center. I have no doubt that this center will open the doors of opportunity for so many members of this community. The senator is always so happy and so glad to see the wonderful work that's going on here in Columbus. This community has a magical way of working together and getting things done. The people who will be helped here, their lives will be impacted and changed forever. So I want to thank you all on behalf of the senator and his wife, Connie, and we look forward to seeing the wonderful things this community does and the center, and the wonderful opportunities the center will provide. I now also have the great pleasure of introducing my state representative and one of the best state reps we have in the House, Representative Herschel Craig. Thank you very much.
Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, the mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said this: "It must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life does not lie with not reaching your goals. The tragedy lies is not in having any goals to reach. It is not a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled. It is a calamity not to have any dreams. It is not a disgrace to not reach the stars. It is a disgrace to not have any stars to reach." And then he says this most compelling thing: "It is not failure, but low aim that is a sin." It is clear to me when I think about Robert Patterson as somebody that really tills in the vineyard. He has made it up in his mind, and all of those with the Marion-Franklin Civic Association. I have attended those meetings late at night for many hours that they talk about not only helping themselves, but making a difference in the lives of young people and families that are struggling. And that's what today is really about, the Marion-Franklin Community Opportunity Center. I heard folks talking about getting their GEDs. My mother, who came here as a live-in maid and continued to advance her education in centers like this and retired 3 times. All of the people that will benefit, the young men and women, the young fathers and mothers that will advance their education and continue to contribute not only to the Marion-Franklin community, but throughout our city and our state and our nation. That's why we're so excited about this. This collaboration, certainly with Dr. Good and with Pat Levinsky with the Columbus Library Association. So we're so proud. I'm so deeply honored to have the privilege of representing this great community in the state legislature. So I say to you all, Mr. Patterson, for your vision that God has given you, for all of you that continue to work with tenacity and belief and vision, that we're making a difference in the lives of our families and our children. God bless you and have a great day today. Oh, let me, now y'all know a preacher, he gonna jump up and say something. Now, I have the privilege of introducing this great man. We served together on Columbus City Council. I'm just a little bit older than he is. President Andrew Ginther.
What a great day. What a great day. I want to acknowledge one of Columbus's amazing faith leaders and a great supporter of the Opportunity Center. It just walked in the back, Bishop Hezekiah Martin. Would you stand up? Bishop represents Southfield Baptist Church and one of the great leaders in our city. Bishop, thank you for all that you do for children and families in this community. Let me begin by saluting the partnership between the Marion-Franklin Civic Association, the Columbus City Schools, with the support of the city and the Columbus Metropolitan Library, have worked to make this day possible. Thanks to your efforts, the former Berry Middle School, which opened as a junior high school nearly 60 years ago, has been reborn like a phoenix as the Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center. The name is fitting because this center will provide Marion-Franklin residents and residents from across the South Side the opportunity to learn and to gain the skills they need to succeed now and in the future. Residents will be able to take advantage of the space, new technology, and specialized training to gain the skills necessary to compete for in-demand jobs. Whether you're looking to get your GED, become a nurse, because we're going to hear from a pretty amazing nurse graduate here in just a few minutes. We need help preparing to enter the workforce. Residents of all ages will benefit from this center. I am proud to have had the support of Councilmember Hardin and our colleagues who joined with me to provide city funding to purchase the computers, Chromebooks, that will be used by Opportunity Center classes. And Mr. Patterson promised me he was going to show me how to use these Chromebooks before I left here today. I know that through our investment and through your efforts, we will help Marion-Franklin residents secure good-paying jobs that will support their family and strengthen our neighborhoods and our schools. This is important because despite the fact that Columbus has led the state in job creation and the region's unemployment rate remains low, nearly a historic low, there are still 30,000 people between the ages of 16 to 24 that aren't in school or working. Another 145,000 people in the region lack a high school diploma or the skills needed to get a job in one of the fastest growing industries in our area. Meanwhile, many employers struggle to find qualified employees to fill their jobs, pointing to a disconnect between past workforce efforts and our current employment environment. That's why efforts such as the Opportunity Center are important, not only for this great neighborhood, but for all of our city. I've talked a lot recently about Columbus being America's opportunity city, a city with a strong middle class and where you're more likely than anywhere else in the country to rise out of poverty and secure a job that pays a wage you can raise your family on. But in order to achieve our full potential, we need to invest in our neighborhoods, lift residents up, and provide the skills needed to take advantage of the opportunities that exist today and create new opportunities for those that follow. Thank you to each one of you who are working to make sure Marion-Franklin residents have the opportunity to improve their own lives, their families, and their community. It is a great honor for me at this point to ask Councilmember Shannon Hardin to join me here at the podium as we present a resolution recognizing this day in the Marion-Franklin Opportunity Center to Mr. Robert Patterson. Mr. Patterson? It is my great honor to introduce my partner in all the great work we're doing as a city and focusing on in Marion-Franklin, a South Side boy who's now serving us on Columbus City Council, Shannon Hardin.
Well, thank you, President Ginther, Dr. Good, all the dignitaries, members of the school board, Ms. Ramona Reyes. I have to admit, I do feel some type of way today. I came here, thinking about this special relationship that I have with Mr. Patterson, thinking that he's the only one who, out of everybody, he calls at 11 o'clock at night, and then I get here, I see all these dignitaries and realize this relationship is one he shares with the entire community. So the relationship isn't special, but what is special is the man who ties us all together and ties this community together. Mr. Patterson is truly one of my heroes, someone who is a real voice and advocate for our neighborhood, Marion-Franklin. This Opportunity Center grew out of Mr. Patterson's and the Marion-Franklin Civic Association's vision of providing exactly what it says it is, an opportunity. Mr. Patterson forged relationships and fought hard to get this together and did an amazing job doing that. Back in March, City Council was able to approve funding for the Opportunity Center from the Jobs Growth Fund because the center provides opportunities for youth and adults to take GED courses and job readiness programs. Seeing the partnership between Columbus City Schools, Marion-Franklin Civic Association, enabled by the City of Columbus to help with the purchase of technology equipment. I also want to recognize this really was, and it's been really neat over the years to see this thing come together. When we think about community collaboration, when we think about what makes Columbus special, there really, in my time in service, has not been a more bright example than this center right here. Ms. Seema Gelman, who used to work for the City of Columbus in the technology department, who I called several years ago to help with computers for this center, and she said, well, let me see what I can do. We worked to get some, but then she said, I came back out a couple weeks ago, and she said, well, Mr. Patterson called me late at night and said, we need somebody to help train folks on these computers. And now Ms. Seema has been here as a volunteer training and doing computer training. So thank you, Ms. Seema. This is about a partnership that includes the Columbus Metropolitan Library, establishing a beautiful satellite location right here in Marion-Franklin, planting the flag and the community and committing to this neighborhood. Now that the partnership grows, that means that opportunities will also grow here. It grows because of the jobs, the job fairs hosted at the Opportunity Center today. It grows to include the Millwood Logistics, ODW, Georgia Pacific, and Wasserstrom. It grows because of the Benefit Bank that has a beautiful space here. It grows because of the number of classes and spaces that continue to grow in this center. This is and has always been about opportunities for people in and around this neighborhood. I'm so incredibly proud of the partnerships that have come together to bring this Opportunity Center. I'm proud of this center that is here because of men like Bob Patterson, because of the community, and because of the Columbus City Schools, and because of folks at Columbus Metropolitan Library, and because of the folks here at Columbus, my colleagues at Columbus City Council. And with that, I would like to bring up Mr. Pat Lazinski, who helped finish off this great partnership with the Columbus Metropolitan Library. Thank you so much.
Well, I too am here with my Robert Patterson story today. But before I begin, I'm a transplant to Columbus, but I've now been here 13 years, and Columbus is our family home. And I have the perspective of having been a library director in 3 other cities, and I think if you've only been from Columbus, you actually can't fully appreciate how this is not common everywhere in the United States. And the fact that in Columbus it is so commonplace, this is the Columbus way. This is actually how we do business. And I know it took us a while to get here, but all things are possible because of the approach that we take in Columbus. And I'm thrilled to continue to be a part of it. How about that library sign out there, right? Let me talk about that, right? Some of the staff has been telling me, you know, with the size of that sign, they think the whole place is a library, right? It's made kind of a big statement out there. And I'm guessing that many of you, when you think of a library, we know that the brand of libraries is still books. And of course it is if you go in. But if you actually look at the library, I want to talk about 2 services. One, the Homework Help Center. So think about after school and the kids who come in with a designated safe place with volunteers and library staff who are going to help them with that homework. Think about the computers that are available for people to reserve to gain access to the entire world through the internet. We know, because that's an automated process, we get 2 million reservations a year from people who reserve computing time in our 22 locations. It's a big part of what we do, and we always say, where else would those folks go to get access to the internet and to the digital economy if it were not for the library? And I will tell you a story. We do have many books, and you know the story that I'm going to tell you is around The Little Engine That Could, and that's written by Mr. Patterson. Because my assistant got to the point where, as I would walk in the morning, she'd say, "He hasn't called yet," or "He's called yet." Because at one point, Mr. Patterson, who was dogged, coming down to my office to talk about why a library was needed, he said, "Pat, I want you to come out and meet the community and hear their stories about why a library is needed." And it was a July evening several years ago, and a horrific thunderstorm. Like, I didn't think I should be on the road. There had to have been tornado warnings. And I'm thinking, who is coming out to talk about library services in Marion-Franklin in a church? Well, about 60 people were waiting for me that night. And one of the stories I heard was from a grandfather who took his grandson to apply for a job at Rickenbacker Airport. And it was, of course, an online application process. And his grandson was gone for a long time. And finally, when his grandson got back, he said, "Why were you in there so long?" And he said, "Well, Grandpa, there was another man in there, and he didn't know how to apply online, so I had to train him on how to apply for the job in the office." That's why we need a library in this community. We have to invest in those skills to make sure that not only our young people, but even the adults who perhaps didn't get the foundation they need, they still get the opportunity to move forward. Not only are we proud of the library that we have in this space, but now that the main library is closed for renovation, we're actually using this space for storage, and really importantly, You may not know, we deliver about 180 crates per month to schools around Central Ohio, and that school delivery operation is actually headquartered here while the main library is closed. I want to thank in particular the Columbus School Board, Dr. Good. We could not have a better partner than the Columbus City Schools and what they have done to help bring this library to the Marion-Franklin. And we congratulate you on building upon the library and making this the opportunity center that this community deserves. And with that, let me introduce our next speaker with some special remarks, and that is Cherlene Anderson, who is an STNA graduate.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is certainly a delight to be up with all these wonderful people this afternoon. As I came in, I really kind of got full because I went to Berry Junior High School. So it was a full circle experience in just coming back to this location where I went to junior high school. And then October is my mom's birth month and also her death month, and so that's kind of why I have the pink thing going on. And I think about her because she was a nurse. So in 2013, I retired from the city of Columbus after have worked with the Capital Kids program and served over 500 children and their families. So it was really time for me to think about how I would spend the rest of my life serving on the earth while I'm still alive. And came up to the Opportunity Center. They said there was going to be a STNA class, but they didn't know when the class was going to start. So I looked somewhere else, and then Miss Williams called me and said, there's going to be a class. So me and 3 other individuals under the leadership of Miss Clark took the class, and I took care of my dad for 16 years. So it was out of love, not classwork, not how to properly bathe someone, how to have the proper bedside manner, how to make sure they're safe. So with my passion and taking care of my dad, I believe that it was the spirit that allowed me to pass the class. Hadn't been doing any classwork. It was very knowledgeable. I have some health issues. So it really kind of helped me look at my own life and then elderly lives, because elderlies are very near and dear to me, and children are very near and dear to me, but children can no longer be my career. So with that, I took the class, did clinicals. My family was like, Cheryl, you are not going to make it. And I'm like, why? And they're like, they know me. Because there's a lot that comes with elderly care. And it's a marketable position. And I really think I want to be a nurse now. And so I will continue my education, and I will continue to advocate for seniors, because it is a population that we really need to ensure that they get quality care. And so my goal is really to do it as a ministry, and in my community, I am praying that I will be blessed to serve my best friend's mom, who may need some help now. So after today, I will be visiting her, and prayerfully she will allow me to serve her. And I really want to thank Mr. Patterson, because this community is almost a little over 60 years old, and we're a little unknown secret way out here on the far south side. And we've always said health, education, and safety are our priorities. And under the leadership of Mr. Patterson, everything that we've asked for since 1959 has now came to fruition under his leadership. So I applaud him, I applaud Columbus City Schools, our dignitaries, and most importantly, the community where I work and live. God bless you all. Me and State Representative Craig got something in common. Come on up, Sister Mary Green.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. I wrote speech 2 or 3 times, but I started off and told everybody my name is Mrs. Mary E. Green, and I'm 70 years old. I'm a mother of 3. I've been married to the same man for 53 years.
Amen.
And God's still blessing us. We have 17 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. I started to say stepchildren, but once you get them, they ain't stepping nowhere. First, I would like to welcome all our distinguished guests and all our neighbors and all my friends to this Opportunity Center. By the way, I'm having a wonderful time learning and studying toward my GED. However, that's one of the words we learned in class, to add it to sentences, to make your poem more interesting. However, I have learned one is never too old to learn. In fact, we do ourselves a disservice when we spend so much time being embarrassed about asking for help. Once you take that first step, the next step will be a lot easier. In fact, that's another one. In fact, times and education techniques have changed so much. I think everyone would do well to take a refresher course. Meanwhile, I'm so proud to be able to help my grandchildren more now. And when I say, honey, your answer is a little bit off, and they try again and they get it right, they say, Grandma, how you know that? And Grandma said, I studied. Then the kids, they say, Grandma, you too old to study. I said, baby, you're never too old to learn. So when they say, Grandma got homework, ask my teacher, I got homework. Well, I don't have Alzheimer's because I know I'm always thinking. And it seems like I'm always working too. I'm working with the Civic Association. I'm working on the board. I go to school. I take computer class. Grandma taking computer classes too. I work with the food drive at our church. I babysit with a 14-month-old that make Grandma stretch it. I got up this morning and decided to bake you guys a cake. I pick greens in our community garden, which we're so proud of. I do freezing, I pickling. I work with our seniors. And when I can answer the call, you know I'll be there. So please continue to support us in our endeavors to succeed in our lives.
Amen.
Our next speaker is Sister Denise Desiree Woods.
Well, hello. It is definitely a pleasure to be here speaking in front of very distinguished guests and, of course, the community and people who help. My name is Desiree Wood, and I am a recent graduate of Columbus Public City Schools Practical Nursing Program. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, we've been in service for over 65 years, and Ms. Cleary actually asked me to come here today and tell the story about my journey and how I ended up becoming a graduate of this school. So, I am a product of Columbus Public City Schools, definitely. Unfortunately, I'm not from Marion-Franklin, I'm from the West Side. But thank you. But when I started off in school, Columbus Public, it was a nice school. When you're a child, you don't tend to think of the what goes on in the background of the school and how it works and how you have community leaders and, well-established people who come together to bring, something so special to the children and communities of our city. So after I graduated high school, I was not thinking inside the box. I was thinking outside the box. I wanted to get out of here. I wanted to go to another city and state, and I thought it would offer me so much more. But I ended up coming back inside the box. And what I realized was that the city of Columbus has so much to offer. There's so many resources, there's education programs, there's outreach programs. And I decided to take advantage of the nursing program that Columbus City Schools had offered me. And what I realized while I was in the school was that it's a lot of good people, it's a lot of educated people who want to see you succeed. I was in a class with people who just had started out from high school, who had just graduated high school. And I worked with people who were, mature up to 66 years old, I believe. And we all worked together, and we all had a common goal, and now we're able to, be great products of our community. So, with all the tools that they have given us, I definitely urge you to tell people in your community and your kids and the graduates and even people who may have graduated 20, 30 years ago or 40 years ago to, definitely take advantage of the programs that Columbus Public Schools offer. I'm able to be a working adult now and have a career, and I'm not going aimlessly from job to job and signing up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm able to, have a career, and I'm able to go somewhere with a resume and say, this is what I do. I am certified. I am able to be a leader in our community, and I'm able to educate the community. And you should definitely, if you haven't already, look more into Columbus City Schools. Before I got ready to talk, I was looking at our open house packet, and I looked at the front of it, and it says, sharing the spirit of success. I am an outcome. I'm a product of that spirit of success. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. But I am a product of that. And the spirit of success, my spirit, when I go out now, I am very happy and proud to say I went to Columbus Public City School of Nursing, and this is what it's done for me. And I'm able to look at my nieces and my nephews and say, your aunt did it. She did something that she can I can take this to the end of my life until I want to retire. I don't have to go from job to job if someone lays off. Nursing is always going to be in. You'll always have a job with nursing. Thank you. And a lot of other programs, but I'll say, I wish I'd have stayed in the box instead of going outside of the box, so I could have done this sooner. Definitely. But, as a child, you always want to run from what people tell you should do the most. But I'm here to tell you that if you do have children, or if you are in fact that adult who wants to go back and who wants to be successful, or who wants to make a career for themselves, please, take this information that our city and our, governors and representatives and mayors are giving you and run with it, because it's here. And yeah, thank you. But definitely, please be a spirit of success, because it is contagious. As a nursing term, it's contagious. When you become successful, people see you being successful, and they want to be successful, and they look up to you. So if you are a part of any community, please, I say, be a leader and do something successful and do something that, will help you strive forward. And it's definitely been a blessing for me. It's been less than a month that I've graduated, but I've already met so many people, and I never thought I'd be on stage with all of these distinguished people. But thank you, Columbus City Schools, and to the faculty and all that you do, and to the community. I definitely hope that you take this spirit and put it into everybody you know, because there's something you can take out of it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you again to our wonderful inspirational speeches. And thank you again for coming.